Hi there, this is Randy Schaefer from Synchronicity Studio AI Filmmaking 101, and this is a commentary for My Name is Emma fake documentary. Before I start, I'm just going to go through a little bit of context for why this documentary came to be. My wife and I have a cat named Emma. We adopted her in 2018, I believe. And we have a joke. She was a couple years old that when we got her, and so we have this joke, this long running joke that she lived with a bunch of famous celebrities before us, and had this really wild life before she ever came to live our in our boring existence. And one of the things that she did was she was the model for a pilot TV show that never got aired. That's just one of the fake stories that we came up with for Emma's backstory. And in the pilot, it was supposed to originally star Judge Reinhold, and it was about this divorced dad who comes to live in a new town, and he's a school teacher, and his cat suddenly begins speaking to him. And we would build off of this idea and improvise out different scenarios for what this show was like. And essentially all those scenarios got sort of melded and mashed into this AI short. A lot of the ideas from the Vikings, time travel, space, all that stuff was sort of like randomly thrown in there, and we would improvise what this pilot was. And so it eventually became literally this pilot, which is sort of weird how now it's actually a real sort of entity that you can watch. And honestly, after seeing the clips, I want to see the whole episode. I wish that I could animate the entire episode. Maybe one day in the future, VO or another AI will allow such a thing to happen. Who knows? So that's the background context. Is basically My Name is Emma is an improvised fake TV show that my wife and I would make up for our cat. So that is what it is. That's sort of the origin of it. So now I'm going to press play on this video here, and we're gonna watch, and I'm going to do a little bit of commentary. And we have begun. So this is actually the very first thing I ever rendered. I actually tried to get it to render Judge Reinhold here, and it didn't. This is the guy it rendered. This guy looks a lot like Paul Rudd, even kind of sounds like Paul Rudd. It's very clear the AI was using Paul Rudd here. I almost didn't accept that scene. This was made late in the game and added in. I just thought it was really funny. I love the Rubik's Cube in the background. It has like way too many squares on it. Love Mickey McArnold. This guy's just classic. This was an amazing render. I couldn't believe it did this. This little like laugh. Well, yeah, it reminds me of Married with Children, the husband. Not the Al Bundy, but the Marcy's husband. This was another clip. I was actually trying to get it to render the same guy, and it just rendered a different guy. And that became the concept, is that they had to swap out actors. Oh, an NBC executive. Little Judge Reinhold cameo made with Grok. Yeah, those are made with Grok. Love this guy. He turned out amazing. You actually couldn't get a better performer right there. It's incredible. This lady was flat, so I made her the script editor. I thought that people like script editors just wouldn't be good in front of cameras. This clip sends all my friends. Whenever I play this for friends, this one really sent people. I love it. She's like a teenager, but she has like a nose ring. That's really funny. This is just absolutely amazing. I told it to do a ship. And that's the ship it gave me, and the entire clip is just amazing. I want to watch the whole thing. This guy just he feels a little like Ryan Reynolds, and he feels very much film critic. This guy Nihar, I had a friend, a schoolmate, high school. His name was Nihar. It's a reference to him. Hey Nihar. Another NBC executive. Go figure, Kip River. Gotta love Kip River. So disappointed to be on a TV show. This clip is just absolutely absurd. I don't even know how, in context, how this would have worked, but who cares? Producer of the show here, he's really excited. Vikings, the Viking subplot is just absolutely amazing. I like that this guy maybe went on to be a news anchor. He was like an actor at one point, and that's kind of what this is he's a news anchor. This was actually, that clip right there was a moment from Sora. It just didn't render very well, so I did it like stills. This guy, everybody gets a big laugh at Packer. Packer is probably the biggest laugh. I love he's crying over his dead brother, and it's literally the biggest laugh anytime I ever play it. Some shows are just follow up by this. People love this. Kavit, this is probably the best render in the whole thing. I thought this one just looks real. Her performance is great. Everything about it's great. A little kick in. A little Oppenheimer right there. A little reference to Oppenheimer, the film.
Maybe one day my name is Emma will
Dennis
rise
Franco,
again.
journalist. He's
Who
just
knows?
nuts. That's pretty funny render. This clip was just amazing. The next clip with the Asian woman here actually had to cut some stuff. So there's a little bit of a clip here on her voice, but it's great. I think a Netflix executive implying that they're going to bring the show back. This guy just being a pompous film professor who's based on every TV film professor you've ever seen. And this was great that it rendered it like this. The only thing I had to add is my name is Emma, which I'm not happy with how it turned out, but I think it looks good. Just it's B. Love this. This was these were some this is VO2 renders right here, and then that's Sora. We'll fade to black and then back in with this guy. God, I love that. I was just one last joke. I just wanted to get one more joke in there and sort of enjoy it. So that's basically the commentary in a nutshell. For me, the short is sort of about the pilot process in general and how arduous it actually is. It's arduous, it's complicated, it's frustrating. And then sometimes the show that you're making is garbage, and then sometimes it gets picked up, and then you're just on a show for, sometimes years. So some shows are like that. They'll be bad out the gate, and then they'll be bad consistently throughout. Like I don't want to really list an example because I don't want fans of that show to get on me. But there's tons of shows that are out there that they come out. And probably the people who are in it don't even really want to be in the show by the time the show gets picked up. And then next thing you know, they're on a show for 6 seasons. And that's sort of how it goes. For me, I think AI, in an interesting sort of realm, I think AI it has the potential to reduce cost of the entire pilot process. I think that AI could very quickly and very, very easily render pilots that can then be looked at by committees and then backed financially. And instead of making 30 pilots a year, like NBC will produce X amount of pilots a year, and then they might make 30, and then they'll pick like 5 or less. And so in this case, you could potentially render out pilots and then make determinations on which ones get produced. And instead of rendering 20 productions that don't get picked up, you could render maybe 10 productions, and of those 10, 5 get picked up. And it's just a cost savings. But once again, as always, AI is a destroyer of the environment. That is important to note, and that I encourage all AI companies to get in a arms race of sort for a renewable energy source. AI filmmaking is most certainly the future, and anybody who tells you otherwise is honestly just scared of it. And but renewable energy is a consistent and terrible problem, and we need to find a solution. We need renewable energy, and the AI and any company who wants to lead AI, if you want to lead AI, you will lead by leading the way on renewable energy. Period. So that's why I made this. For me, this is about the difficulty of the pilot process and how people kind of sometimes don't end up where they want with it. And also, this is also a solution for the arduous pilot process all at the same time. And that's what My Name is Emma is. Not only is it a cute, funny little documentary about my cat named Emma, but it is also a look into the industry and the difficult process of bringing art to life. And I know a lot of people have negative opinions of AI. I get that. I was one of those people for many, 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 many years. But this is freeing. To be able to make something like this. If I wanted to just whip this up like a Saturday Night Live sketch, it would cost me $500,000. Take that into consideration. $500,000 to make a 3.5-minute short. This I made in about 30 prompts and about a week and a half. All told, there was about maybe, I'd say, 40 hours of work that went into bringing My Name's Emma, the faux documentary to life. 40 hours of work versus probably 400 hours of work if I were to produce that in live action. That's valuable for artists. I want more control over the art. I want to be able to control it more. I think everybody does. But we're getting there. This is the most promising AI model, VO3 in particular, that I've ever seen. It does understand direction a little bit. It does understand writing prompts. It understands the language of screenplays. And I'd argue it likely is only going to get better. Particularly now, it's only in beta. So soon it will be public, and it will be quite substantially more valuable to people. It's going to change the industry. This is the ground floor of that. And I know that's a really hard thing to swallow for a lot of people, but that's what it is. It's emerging, it's scary. But if you're a good artist, this thing will send you places. And so long as these companies develop a renewable energy that can fuel this into the next generation, then this is the future. So thank you for listening. I hope you have a wonderful day. And if you haven't already, subscribe, like our content, share it, post it, repost it. And as always, we thank you. Take care.